Galatians chapter 5, verses 23 through 25. It's up on the screen, it's in your Pew Bible, but the interpretation that I've been meditating on and that I'll be reading today is from the Message. But what happens when we live God's way? He brings gifts into our lives, much the same way the fruit shows up in the orchard. Things like affection for others, exuberance about life, serenity. We develop a willingness to stick with things, a sense of compassion in our heart, and a conviction that a basic holiness permeates things and people. We find ourselves involved in loyal commitments, not needing to force our way in life, able to marshal and direct our energies wisely. Legalism is helpless in bringing this about. It only gets its way among those who belong. It only gets it in the way. Among those who belong to Christ, everything connected with getting our own way and mindlessly responding to what everyone else calls necessities is killed off for good, crucified. Since this is the kind of life we have chosen, the life of the Spirit, let us make sure that we do not just hold it as an idea in our heads or a sentiment in our hearts, but work out its implications in every detail of our lives. This means we will not compare ourselves with each other as if one of us was better than the other. Of course. And this ends the reading of the gospel. Pray with me for a second. May my meditations and my words be acceptable in the eyes of the Lord this day. Amen. So the title of my sermon today is Walk the Walk. It could also be called March the March, because I'm going to take you guys back a little bit. We're going to go back to 1990. Some of the people in the room, maybe just a couple people in the room, were not born in 1990 yet. But most of us were around in 1990 spring. I was an 8th grader. I was sitting in the concert band classroom of Aurora Hills Middle School. This day was pretty exciting. I was a saxophone player, and I'd been playing since the 4th grade. I was second chair, and there was no way that I would ever challenge the first chair because he was a really cute boy named Jeff. And I was really wanting to stand on his good side. So I was never going to challenge him for first chair. So on this particular day, our band teacher, Mr. Topher, came and told us we were going to have a very, very special guest in class that day. And the guest was going to be the high school band director, which felt very grown up to me. And I was really excited to be in this class in the fall. Many of my friends were in band with me, and we all had decided we were going to stick with band in high school, we're going to do the marching band. So Mr. Jans was this man's name. Now we get to call him Jack because we are adults like him. But there we were, sitting in that classroom, and he came to talk to us about marching band. One of the first things he told us was he had way too many people playing woodwind instruments. And the alto sax happened to belong to the woodwind family. So I'm sitting there thinking, well, crud, I'm going to have a whole bunch of people who know way more about this than I do. So then he started talking to us about how we needed more brass players. He was really well at brass players, especially low brass players. And he said, I'll give you free lessons for the whole summer. I'll give you free instrument rental the entire time you're in high school. And I'm thinking, man, this is a deal. My mom was renting my saxophone at that time, and it was like $25 a month, which doesn't seem a lot now, but back then, to a single mom, it was a lot of money. I'm like, man, I could save my mom some money. I could learn a new instrument. I could kind of reinvent myself in the band when I get there. So it sounded really cool. And my best friend Connie also played in woodwind. She was a flute player. And Connie's only about 5 foot nothing. And at that time, she only weighed about 100 pounds. But And so the flute and the piccolo kind of fit her. So we thought, oh, well, she'll kind of stay with that. And then we got to talking, and she's like, I'm switching to the low brass. Like, I thought I was going to switch to the low brass too. So we talked about it, talked to our parents about it, and we made decisions. And I decided I was going to switch to the trombone. Which, if anybody knows the trombone, it's probably the most ridiculous instrument in the whole wide world. I think it's ridiculous. And my friend Connie, 5 foot nothing, came to me and she said, I'm going to march the tuba. I'm like, okay, here we go. So there we were, these two freshman girls, brand new to this high school, brand new to this marching band, learning these brand new instruments. And both of us also had to change to bass clef and learn bass clef instruments. And neither of us were piano players, so we did not know how to read bass clef in background. So there we were just getting through this. And we learned really, really quickly that we couldn't talk our way through this. We learned real quick that we had to really learn this stuff and be very dedicated, because we were going to walk the walk or march the march. We were going to have to know what to do. So today's scripture kind of reminded me of this. This is the story that came into my mind when I read this scripture. And some of you are thinking, like, how does marching band compare to this? And I'll get into that a little bit more. It sounds a little crazy, but I think I was a little crazy back in 1990. You had to be to go from playing these instruments that you've been playing for years to playing a brand new instrument and learning how to be in the marching band all at the same time. We really had no idea what we were getting ourselves into. We were learning to walk the walk in this new life. So the scripture today tells us that we need to live God's way. He will bring gifts into our lives, and He'll give us the willingness to stick things out or be loyal to things. And He will teach us that we shouldn't compare ourselves to others. So let's dive a little deeper into these principles. When we're called to live God's way, and He will bring all the gifts into our lives. I first read that, I was like, what does that mean? What does it mean for everybody? Does it mean that if I'm a really good person and I'm super nice to everybody, that magically I'm going to be able to afford the shoes I've been craving from Macy's? If it means that if I sign up for the potluck cleanup crew after the potluck next week, that I'm going to magically get a Starbucks card in my mailbox? And now we know it doesn't really mean that, because those are a little bit extreme and a little bit silly. But what we do know is that it's the definition for living God's way is different for everybody. And the way I define it is being the best person that I can, living my life the best way I can, and also following the golden rule. And when I write this all on paper, it makes me look like a saint. You know, it makes us all look like saints when we write it down on paper. This is what I'm going to do. Live my best life. I'm going to be the best person I can. I'm going to follow the golden rule. The reality is that's not easy. Because in the world we live in today, we judge other people judge us. It's very difficult for us to live exactly that life. And there's many, many days that I fail at this. And I have to stop my day and pray for guidance and patience from God. He said, listen, I need to live your way. And it's hard for me, because someone just cut me off in traffic, and I flipped them the bird. That wasn't living the best life that I could live, probably. There might have been words that came out with that gesture, but they didn't hear it, so it doesn't really count. So, the gifts that I'm getting are not tangible gifts. The gifts that I'm getting by living this life are the unconditional love of my family. No matter how crazy I am, no matter how many times I flip someone the bird, my family always loves me. I have friends that bless my life every single day. Friends that I've known since I was really little, and friends that I've known since being an adult. But either way, they're friends and they're blessing my life. They're filling my cup with that love. And I'm living a good life. I'm I'm happy. I have all the things that I need. So how do I have to keep reminding myself to keep living God's way because I like the life that I get after. The second principle that the scripture tells us is about our willingness to stick with things, or our loyalty. Now this one's not hard for me. This one's really easy because I am loyal to a fault. I know some other people that are loyal to a fault. I had many friendships and relationships and acquaintances that I probably should have cut off once I figured out this is not a great thing for me. But I was loyal to that person or that situation, and I wasn't going to let it go. Like, I kind of wanted to stick it out until it got better, thinking it could get better. And it didn't, and I didn't really see how that was going to harm me. But this trait's not always just a pitfall in my life. Had I not been super loyal and willing to stick things out, I would have never stayed in marching band. Because that first year, probably just in the 2-week span of marching band, I probably did 1,000,000 push-ups. Because I messed up a lot. I was clumsy, I started on the wrong foot, I played the wrong note, whatever. I've messed up a lot. And so I did a bunch of push-ups. With every one of those push-ups, I was determined to be better. I was going to be a better trombone player, I was going to be a better marcher, whatever. I was going to be better. Mainly because I really hated push-ups. There was a couple of times I messed up so big that I had to run around the whole field twice, which, if anybody knows me, I don't run unless there's zombies chasing me, so it wasn't my favorite thing. So loyalty was really not something that I had to really learn. It was something that I already had inside of me. The third principle of this scripture is about not comparing ourselves to others. This one is so hard for me. I don't know about anybody else, but it's so hard for me. Sometimes I compare myself to others because I want to feel better about myself. And sometimes I compare myself to others and it makes me feel worse about myself. I remember reading those teen magazines back in the day and looking at all those supermodels and their cool outfits and their skinny bodies, and I'm like, man, comparing myself to them was really not a good thing for my self-esteem back then. Probably wouldn't be today either, but I'm less worried about it. In the marching band, I was comparing myself to everybody else in my section. We had all these people, including upperclassmen, that I was comparing myself to that had been playing the trombone for probably as longer than I'd been playing the saxophone, and now here I am, brand new to this awkward instrument. And I found myself just really wanting to be as good at the trombone as I was the saxophone, and as good as everyone else was playing their trombone. And I can't tell you in parade formation how many times I accidentally hit somebody in the back of the head with my trombone slide because I was a little too close to them and wasn't lined up with the rest of my line. So it was really just an awkward thing for me, and I was really having a hard time figuring out how to fit into this group. It made me really hate playing the trombone, and really I despise playing that instrument. I probably would never play it again. In fact, I switched to the tuba next year, just because of that. Now, the other place in my life that's more current that I really compare myself in is being a mom. I look at these moms that post things on Pinterest, and they post like perfect things, and I'm like, man, I am really not up to speed with some of these moms. But then I also look at myself and compare myself to other moms and what they might be doing, and I'm like, man, at least I'm doing way better than she is. So it's not great either way. And I found out, and I really realized what was happening with this was I was tearing my own self-esteem down. I was tearing up the relationships I had with these other moms. And nobody was winning for this comparing. So then I just stopped comparing myself to other moms and knew that I was doing the best that I could for Ethan, and that's all that really mattered. And I'm assuming that all that they're doing is the best they can do for their kids. And that's all that really mattered. So once you realize that comparing yourself to others isn't great, is kind of freeing. It's kind of just like letting go of all of that stuff, and it brings your self-esteem back up. So how is it that we implement these things in our lives? These 3 principles: living God's way, not comparing ourselves to others, and being loyal. How do we implement them in our lives? My first answer is always daily prayer and daily devotions. Now, I didn't always pray. I didn't always find time in my life to pray. I was a busy mom. I was a wife. I worked a job. Sometimes I worked 2 jobs. I did not always create time in my life to pray. Because in my mind, at that point, self-care was sitting on my couch eating ice cream, watching Friends. Not realizing how much prayer and devotion can actually be self-care to you. When I really got into this, probably about 5 or 6 years ago, doing the daily prayer, I was commuting from Castle Rock to North Denver to work at the Tennyson Center every day. And I decided in the mornings, it was a good plan for me to talk to God. Because in the afternoons, I talked to my mom on the phone every day. We had a conversation, got our phone call out of the way. So I thought, well, mornings, I can talk to God. Because all I was doing at that point was listening to radio disc jockeys, and they were kind of irritating. So I thought, let's just talk to God. So I made that a plan. Some days I talked to him for 5 minutes, and some days I talked to him for 15 minutes. Some days I talked to him the whole time I was driving. It probably just depended on what I was feeling that particular day. And those conversations with God opened my heart. And they opened my eyes to the kind of self-care that I really, really needed. I didn't need ice cream. I still watched Friends every single night. But I didn't need anything else really but that kind of self-care. Now, I feel like it's important to do this very much every single day, talk to God. Also the devotions. I found a couple of books about devotions. Some are just for women, some are just whatever, some are more contemporary. There's also some apps out there that deliver daily devotions directly to your phone. Just send you a little message. Like, hey, you got some self-care right here on your phone. So it's kind of great to learn to live God's way through these conversations that I'm having every day with Him. And it's really helping me not compare myself to others and really just live as Jennifer. One of my favorite authors is Brene Brown. Some of you might know Brene Brown, you might have read her books. And if you have, you know that that woman is blunt as food. She doesn't sugarcoat anything, which really speaks to me. Because I don't need extra sugar in my life. I just need someone to tell me how it helped me live my life. And this is my very favorite quote from her. And I actually have it written in my office, on my bulletin board. And it says, you either walk inside your story and own it, or you stand outside your story and you hustle for your worthiness. And I was when I first read that, I was kind of tired of hustling for my worthiness, because I really was. And I think that this is her way, her kind of blunt, no sugar-coated no sugar added way of just saying, walk the walk. Stop talking the talk, because we can all talk the talk. We can all say whatever we can say to make ourselves look shiny and new. But if we can't walk the walk, no one's going to believe us. So I somehow stumbled my way through that 1990 marching band season. And I came out of there with some more knowledge and more confidence. And knowing that I wanted to leave the trombone far behind me, switched to the tuba for the next year. Life was so much better. Spent the next 3 years marching the tuba for Gateway High School. Spent 3 years marching the tuba for Adams State College. And in between there, I did a half season of marching for the Blue Knights Drum Corps, which was the hardest thing in my life ever. My best friend Connie, she enjoyed her tuba season for a little while. It was tough for a 5'0" girl to march a sousaphone, and she quickly decided to switch to the trombone the next year because apparently she didn't think it was as ridiculous as I did. But learning these things, or when we learned how to walk the walk or march the march, it was so much easier. Our actions could show much more than our words ever could. And I think as Christians, we really need to apply this to our lives. We all claim to be good Christians. But are we doing the very best that we can? And that's a question everyone has to answer for themselves, me, myself included. I know some Christians, people that call themselves Christians because they sit their fannies in the pews every week and they write a check every month, but they don't do anything else. I know a couple people who claim to be good Christians who go to Bible study every single week, and they're every week devoted, doing all this stuff, but they're not doing anything to impact our world. So that's where I'd like us to see. I'd like us to see us put our words into actions at Central Christian Church. Put some faith into our feet and march it out into the real world. Walk the walk out in the real world, because we can all talk the talk every day. We have to figure out how we're going to walk the walk. I want to close with one more quote from Brené Brown, and I'm going to apologize right now because, like I said, she's blunt, and she often uses words that not everybody likes. She says, when I see people stand fully in their truth, or when I see someone fall down and say, damn, that really hurt, but it was important to me, so I get up and I'm going in again. My gut reaction is, what a badass. So stand with me, Central Christian Church. Stand with me in your truth. Let's put some faith in our feet and walk the walk. And if you fall down, know that we will all be there to help you stand back up, and we're going to brush you off and look at you and say, you are my favorite badass. Thank you today for letting me